Now it's time to discuss how conscious leadership can build peaceful societies, in Africa. In the studio, I think I'll just start with Dr. Kings Oshifade Kayode, founder and convener of the Holy Kings Impact Foundation and African Elite Award. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you very much, Joy. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And we also have Professor Prisca Ndu, social impact advocate. She's so much more. I'll just do a quick one on her very lengthy profile right here. Prof is a social impact advocate and a multi-sector entrepreneur. She has led turnkey economic and social development projects both at federal, state levels in Nigeria. She's highly sought after, of course, and revered economic advisor and discussant on global economic matters. She is also and currently the executive vice chairman of Indeco Group. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you.
Right. Your profile is quite extensive. I have very wonderful people right here in the studio. But before you go ahead, what is Indeco Group? What do you do there?
So Infrastructural Development and Energy Company Limited, Indeco Group, is an infrastructure solution provider. So we do work for states and federal government in about 7 sectors: real estate, oil and gas, agriculture, education, technology, waste management. And our primary state we're working with is Lagos State government. So we've been doing a lot of work with Lagos State in the area of infrastructure solutions, and everything we've done for them is novel.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Not just first in Nigeria, first in Africa. So we brought them the road printer that practically prints out the road, like the name goes.
Wow.
And then we provided solutions to upgrade their asphalt plants to begin to manufacture cold asphalt.
Oh, wow.
So that in rainy season, you don't have to stop road works.
Right.
You know, so that way you can ensure that roads are done speedily, and that's why you see the mass work that Lagos State government is doing in the area of road infrastructure through the Lagos State Public Works Corporation.
That's novel. Do other state governments know this is? Because it often, I can't understand it sometimes when in the 21st century, the entire roads are blocked because it's raining and nothing can be done until the rains go. When we see in other parts of the world, in such issues,
mundane issues, absolutely. That shouldn't be a challenge in this day and age, absolutely. Well, we've had consultations with Ogun State and also with Abia State, where I'm from, and we hope that in the near future we'll commence work with them.
Wow. Well done for the work that you do, but let's move on from building infrastructure now to talking about building Africa. So I think I'll just come back to you when we talk about conflict, especially in Africa. Leadership is often mentioned as the issues right there. From your experience, how much of today's leadership problems do we have rather than security problems if you look across Africa?
Yeah, thank you very much, Joy, for that question. I think that's, I'm very happy for this question, but that's what I stand for. My name once again is Dr. Kings Oshifade Kayode, founder, African Elite Award and Holy Kings Impact Foundation. And I tell you, you can't talk about corruption, you can't talk about insecurity, you can't talk about anything on earth without talking about leadership. They are traceable to leadership. And I tell people we need to understand that leadership is not just an office but an acceptance of responsibility. What do we have now? We don't just have people that, and leaders does not eat first, they eat last. But people we have as our leaders, they do not just eat first, they take what belongs to everybody. So I wonder, what are we practicing? And I think this is the right time, because I tell people problem does not solve problem, solutions solve problem. So instead of we as a youth ranting, talking on social media, we need to start walking the talk. That's why we bet what is called Holy Kings Impact Foundation. Because in Holy Kings Impact Foundation, what we do is that we love impact. Because everything about life is traceable to impact. When you God said, love yourself the way you love your neighbor the way you love yourself.
Right.
And you can't love your neighbor if you don't love yourself.
Absolutely.
And all of this thing is traceable to quality impact. That's why I said in one of my quotes that making impact is superior to making income alone.
Wow.
And you can't be imparting life and be stranded. Joy, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead, please.
Have you seen a pipe that carries water that lacks water?
Absolutely
What
not.
you give out to people, you can't lack it.
Absolutely.
So I think what we should be doing now is we need to start betting quality leadership through impact. So let's not just talk. We've talked a lot. Let's start walking the talk. That's how we are here outside. And we know the reason why things are like this, you know, we see people that has something to offer. They say they're an introvert. While the riffraff, they are out there having millions of followers. So the youth are following the wrong thing.
Okay.
We need the right models.
Okay, so we will get to young people right now. But what's your thoughts or contribution to that conversation as well? When we say leadership in Africa, is it what's fueling the issues we already have right here, or would you say there are other issues that's not tagged or concerned with leadership?
Okay, people make the mistake to think that leadership is a title. Leadership is not a title. Leadership is a service. Leadership is an intention. Leadership is a mindset. So you see leaders across the entire value chain. I don't have to be the head of a team to be a leader.
Absolutely.
When I display leadership, abilities, when I take on tasks that show that I have the interest of everyone at heart, when I take on responsibilities that show that I have the interest of the group at heart, then I am displaying leadership abilities. So some people say leadership is motivational, leadership is inspirational, leadership is inborn. However, I want to say that leadership is altruistic. It's not about self, it's about others. How can I lead in a way that inspires people to do what I am recommending to them to do? Leadership is about followership. If I am leading a group of people and I cannot inspire them to do the things I'm asking them to do, then I have failed as a leader.
Absolutely.
And that's why we see that in Africa today, because values are more about self-aggrandizement, more about selfish goals, as opposed to altruistic values that would engender acceptability by the people, because they can see and trust you, that you have their interest at heart. We don't see that across a lot of our African leaders. We have good examples like, I don't want to make some names, you know, but I can say Kagame.
Of course. You
know, these are selfless leaders. You know, we can say, you know, our own president in some ways has exhibited, exemplary leadership, taking on the mantle of leadership and being bold enough to do the most difficult thing that past presidents have not been able to do. Removing subsidy will make you very unpopular.
Absolutely.
And set you up from failure from day one.
And yet.
But he did that.
And stood by it, by the way.
And it will take many years after for us to begin to see the values of that. Maybe execution down the line has not been smooth, has not been seamless, has not been effective, because some things could have been done better.
Absolutely.
For instance, it wasn't just about removing the subsidy. You should have been able to create buffers in the system.
To absorb.
Yes, absolutely. To absorb the hardships that is a natural outcome of a drastic decision like that. So I want to believe that when our leaders in Africa begin to see themselves as role models, begin to see their leadership as service delivery, as opposed to, you know, power play or enriching yourself. So it has become a competition about who has the most assets, who has collected. You see governors talk about, oh, I have houses in so and so places.
I drink very
the day you die,
wine.
you take nothing with you.
Absolutely.
Nelson Mandela is celebrated until the end of times because he was a selfless leader. He was a leader who brought about comfort, who brought about liberation, who brought about convenience for his people. We're not talking about how much assets he left behind. we're talking about the lives he touched. We're talking about the leadership, the impact he created in our generation. And we'll continue to talk about him tomorrow. Absolutely. So our leaders should begin to learn that leadership is about impact. And to understand that legacies that they leave behind lives years after them. And that's what they'll be remembered by.
Absolutely. Now, Dr. Kings, I mean, she has made very important points there. However, I struggle also to understand why when opportunities are given to certain leaders, they beg for an extension. I mean, we go over and over across Africa, especially. We have leaders, political leaders, who do not want to leave office. I don't know how to marry it to the development or the state of Africa right now. But if you have to choose, pick and choose, which is, do you think right now that the state of Africa is because of the need for, like she said, gain assets, have that, use that opportunity to grab as much as you can, is a bragging right instead of doing the work?
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for that question. I think in Africa, the problem we don't have a hurricane, we don't have
environmental disasters.
Although the disaster we have is leadership problem, and which is worst period to any kind of disasters, because our leaders fail to understand the real meaning of leadership. You know, leaders is superior, is beyond just I want to be in an office, is beyond just I need a name for myself. You know, because if you are really there to serve, you know, beg to come and serve, because you know there's a lot of work to do.
Absolutely.
But because the way they understand leadership is not just to serve, but to create a portion for themselves, to enrich themselves. That's why a lot of the leaders in Africa, the way they end is so miserable. I'm sorry to use that word. You know, we fail to know what's real leadership. And the problem, you know, we need to, and for us to understand the real meaning of leadership, we need to unlearn, relearn, and learn. Because the mindset we have about leadership is not the right mindset. That's why things are the way it is. So if we want to understand the real leadership, we need to unlearn